Hey guys, ADapperPigeon here with Cardboard Goblins talking about a few of my decks. Right now we're going to talk about Malcolm Kediss. So Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator, is 2 and a blue, Siren Pirate 2/2 flying that says whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to an opponent, you create a treasure token for each opponent dealt damage. Kediss, Emberclaw Familiar, this is the Mondo Gecko TMNT altar for it, is 1 and a red for a 1/1 elemental lizard. It says whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. And these both have partners, so you could play them together. I'm always hopping around different Malcolm ideas, trying out different things. But Kediss is the first one that I fell in love with and enjoyed. Currently, it's the one I have sleeved. So the reason you play these two together is if I have Malcolm out, turn 1, let's say, I cast Kediss. Kediss resolves. I go to combat. I hit somebody with Malcolm. Because I dealt damage, I will get 1 treasure. So I would get a treasure. Then there's a Kediss trigger to deal damage to each other opponent. Damage is dealt. I create 2 more treasures. This allows for a lot of explosive plays, and it allows for me to do the focus of the deck, which is the Fake Pirate combo. Basically, the Fake Pirate combo is turning something like a Reckless Fireweaver that says whenever an artifact enters, deal 1 damage to each opponent into a pirate. Because that will deal 1 damage to each opponent, which will create me 3 treasures, which Reckless Fireweaver will see the 3 treasures, and it will deal 3 damage to each opponent, which creates 9, which deals 9 damage, doing infinite damage, infinite treasures. So I'll run through some general test hands, maybe talk a little bit about some of the cards as I go through. Let's see. Our first hand would be Gemstone, Drift of Phantasms, Shivan Reef, Thunder, Weftstalker, Chrome Mox, and Red Elemental Blast. So this hand has a turn 1 Malcolm if I would like, using a Gemstone to pitch something like a Thundering Falls. This hand also has the option to use Drift of Phantasms to go get a piece to turn Weftstalker into a pirate. So I would most likely keep this hand. To show what I would do, I would most likely do Gemstones, pitching, Thunderfalls, draw for turn. Oh, okay, I even got a Glamour Gifter. So we're going to go Shivan Reef. We'll actually Chrome Mox the Drift because this gives us the best potential to combo off. Cast Malcolm. So we tap, go to our next turn. We have a Mox Opal. This hand gets to be pretty interesting. We can cast Kediss, go to combat, deal a damage. That damage gets dealt to each opponent. We now have 4 mana. We can use 1 mana to warp in the Weftstalker. Then we can deal, or pay 2 to flash in the Glamour Gifter. There's an ETB of the Gifter, and there's another creature entering ETB. We'll have this one resolve first, turn this into a pirate. This will then deal 1 damage to each opponent, dealing infinite damage, creating infinite treasures, and winning with protection. So that's kind of the best case scenario. You are trying to focus as much as you can on Glinthorn Buccaneer or the Fake Pirate combo. So there was the option of just playing Kediss turn 2 and then using Drift of Phantasms to get either something to turn Weftstalker into a pirate or using it to get Glinthorn, depending on how you feel the board is. If you're not seeing any Force of Wills or anything like that, then going and getting Glinthorn isn't a bad option. And if you're worried about that kind of thing, then you could try to go for a different angle. That was a good starting hand. Let's test out another one and see how it would be. Alright, we have Underworld Breach, Simian Spirit Guide, Red, Defense Grid, Ancient Tomb, Weftstalker, and Swan Song. Unfortunately, it gives us 3 red mana for turn 1, but no blue mana, so we have no way to get Kediss out, and honestly, not much of a real goal. We have an Underworld Breach with no way to get LED or Brain Freeze. We have no colored mana, so we would have to use Simian Spirit Guide to Red Elemental Blast something if we need to. There's no real point in Ancient Tombing out a defense grid, and Spawn Song's not online. So we would go to second 7 there. Let's take a look at this. Hopefully much better than that hand. Glamour Gifter, Fierce Guardianship, Steam Vents, Sink into Stupor, Xiao Jun, I believe. I'm not actually sure. Bloodstained Mire, and Hydroelectric Specimen. So this is one of the weird things with the deck, is if you look at it, on face value, you have the potential for 3 lands. You will have protection. You have a way to protect your own stuff. You have a creature turn into a pirate, and you have the ability to turn this creature into a pirate. But this is turn 1, probably play Bloodstain, crack, and get a Thunder Falls. Hope that the Thundering Falls gets you something speed-wise to be able to play Malcolm. But you're hoping for turn 2 Malcolm there at best. Turn 3 Kediss, which means probably a turn 4 push, which is just a little slow for this deck. It is like a reliable hand to keep, but depending on what meta you're playing into and what kind of decks you're going up against, it's just not a super strong hand. I play in a decent amount of tournaments, and I don't often get to just have a free turn 4 send it without protection type play, because you would assume you're probably going to have to use that Fierce Guardianship somewhere. So we'll look at another 7. Red Elemental Blast, Mana Confluence, Mystic Remora, Training Camp, Command Tower, Misdirection, Force of Negation. This hand does get to be a turn 1 Mystic Remora, which is cool, but the issue is that we don't really have anything else besides that to do. We do have 2 pieces of protection, and if we draw anything, we're able to use them, so I would most likely keep this hand. We would draw a Dizzy spell for turn. The thing with all the transmute cards is the transmute cards all have a way to get something for the combo. Dizzy spell cannot get a creature that gets turned into a pirate, but it can go get ways to turn creatures into pirates, get Mystic Remora, stuff like that. So you're most likely playing Command Tower into a Mystic Remora. Let's assume you draw 2 cards on your cycle. You get a Force of Will and a Commandeer. This hand looks pretty good now. You have a Commandeer, Force Negation, Force of Will, and a Misdirection. So depending on what people play, you really have a lot of options to play a Commandeer, pitching these 2 to steal someone's Rhystic Study. You do have the ability to use a Force and a Force to double stop win cons. There's a lot of options with it. The only thing is that this deck, because you're playing a 3-drop commander, playing a turn 1 fish can get you caught into a loop. So it's very important to remember not to just keep the fish around and not progress your game state for several turns. If you have something like a Soul Ring, things like that can obviously play out different. But that's a general understanding of how the hands are. Hope you guys enjoyed it.